former lowlife, but now people call me the king. Tearing it up with every lyric that I bring to the table. Because I'm willing and able, I'm in more homes than Comcast cable. I got the skill that'll rattle your brain. I'm a threat like Saddam Hussein, everybody know my name. Joe Habib's a top soldier, kid they should have told you, you really need to pack a lunch. My words hit hard just like a Tyson punch, so give me a chance, I bet you I can make you dance. Show me your girl, I bet you I get in her pants. I'm breaking egos and money is what I'm stacking. Joe Habib on the mic, you know I'm down for action. Shout out to Make Beats Sir and the Beat Smith and the whole Rope a Dope radio crew. Yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. What's going on? Big fight day today and fight morning to diehard boxing fans like myself and others is like Christmas morning, right? This is a very, very, very intriguing fight. It's a very interesting fight. Unfortunately, it's not a big fight for the mainstream boxing fans here in the United States, but I just think this is a phenomenal fight, right? This is about repeat or revenge, just like the title of the video says, right? The big question here is we're hearing things like Joshua needs to go back to the old Joshua, right? Joshua needs to be more aggressive, right? And these things all sound good, right? And in a society today, we deal with people wanting to hear things that sound good and feel good, but nobody wants to deal with the reality of how a situation is. So whenever you hear something like, "Oh, well, you need to go back to the old person that you were back when," right? Or even you hear when talking about a fighter, he needs to go back to the old version of himself. But in the real world and in reality, people and fighters, right? There's no old and new version of ourselves, right? In terms of we can't revert back to the old version of ourselves, and a fighter really can't revert back to the old version of himself because we are a product of our experiences. Our experiences mold us as people, and a fighter's experiences mold them as a fighter. And a fighter is who he is based upon his experiences, and he is who he evolved into because of those experiences. So you just can't sit there and jump in a time machine and be that person you were before and just erase all of that time that elapsed to make you who you are today. Now, Joshua, in that Klitschko fight, a lot of people has said, right, that after that fight, he became a little bit less aggressive, became more reserved, right? More cautious, right? And it's like anything else, because once you touch the hot stove, right, and you get burnt, you're reluctant to touch that hot stove again, right? Joshua's human, right? So obviously he's not immune to having that type of mentality as well, right? So this whole thing about Joshua becoming the old Joshua, I don't really understand that. It really makes no sense to me because again, Joshua has been fighting like this for a while, right? He has been starting slow in a lot of his fights. Um, he hasn't been this guy who just throws all caution into the wind and tries to overwhelm people with aggression and tries to overwhelm people with his size. All right. And the two big questions going into this fight the first time around was, could Usyk take Joshua's punch? And could Usyk hurt Joshua? Right? Those were the two questions that were being asked. And I think Usyk passed the test on both of those questions. If you answer both those questions, I think it's a resounding yes. Right? It's a resounding yes. Right? So that's a big big caveat going into this fight, right? Joshua needs to go back to the old Joshua, right? And Joshua needs to be more aggressive, right? So let's take a look at the first fight, and I'll give you my opinion on what I saw. And again, you can disagree or agree, whatever you choose to do, that's fine. So Joshua, like I said early on, he was trying to find his way through the fight, trying to work his way through the fight. Right, started off, as I said, a little cautious. He was kind of throwing like a little ticky tack, range finder jab. He's like, what Joshua does throw that range finder. It's not the same way as when Usyk throws that range finder. So when Usyk throws that range finder, he's basically pop, pop, tap, 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 tap. It's almost like a disruptor. He's trying to distract you. He's trying to get you preoccupied with that right hand. And while you're being preoccupied with that right hand, that's when he sneaks that left hand down the pike. When Joshua throws that rangefinder out there, and I use this example and this analogy, it's like a person who's trying to find their way through a dark room. You're in a dark room and you can't see where you're going, and you're sitting there, you're like putting your hand out there and you're touching things, and you're really slow and measured in what you're doing. Like you're touching. It's a real slow, indecisive type movement, right? That's what Joshua tends to do sometimes with that jab. So instead of when you want to throw a rangefinder type jab and just like pop, 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 he's like basically trying to find his way through that dark room. And that's what he was doing early in the fight in the first 3 rounds. And he was leaving that left hand out there too long. And he tends to do that sometimes. And that's why he gets hit with a lot of right hands against orthodox fighters, in my opinion. And that's why I believe Usyk was able to come over the top of that jab with his own jab, right, to set up that left hand, right? And Joshua was just touching, like, in other words, when Joshua was trying to deal with the jab of Usyk, he was just catching it. He wasn't trying to knock it down, right? He was just, right? He wasn't trying to knock it down and throw Usyk off rhythm. He was just allowing Usyk to touch him the way, just allowing Usyk to touch him. And he was allowing Usyk to have that left hand, that lead hand, which when you need that lead hand control. And he was preoccupying Joshua's lead hand, right? And controlling what Joshua was doing. So he was controlling the rhythm of the fight. It's like when you're dancing with somebody and someone takes the lead. That was basically what Usyk was doing. He was controlling this fight with his feet and controlling the rhythm and the pace of this fight early on, right? And early on, Usyk was more or less fighting on the perimeter, stepping in, popping back out, and mostly fighting from a distance, right? And just edging up just enough where he could make contact with the punches, but not going all the way in, right? So he's beating Joshua on the outside early on. So the adjustment Joshua made, in my opinion, in the last minute of the 4th round, when Usyk was throwing that ticky-tack feeler disruptor type jab, Joshua started slipping the jab, and instead of throwing that find my way through the dark type jab and sort of like a lazy jab, an indecisive jab, he was more decisive and committed with it, and he stepped in hard with that jab and followed it up with the right hand, right? So he started saying, you know what? I see what he's doing with his right hand. And he's trying to distract me. He's trying to, keep me at bay, whatever. And I'm just going to slip it, step off a little bit to my right, and I'm going to shoot the right hand down the pike. Or, I'm going to slip it and step off to my left and shoot the right hand down the pike. So in other words, instead of being preoccupied with the jab, he tried to slip it and step in hard with his own jab and follow it up with the right hand. And he had some success with it in round 5, 6, and even in round 8. But then Usyk made another adjustment. So Joshua did become more aggressive in probably in the second half of round 4, once he realized that what he was doing originally wasn't working, right? And I know Robert McCracken gets some criticism, but he did tell Joshua, you need to step in with your jab and step in and throw that 1-2. He did tell him to step in with it and stop just staying on the outside and letting him get off first. He was trying to tell Joshua, if you wait on this guy, he's going to beat you to the punch every time, right? The one mistake McCracken did make was he didn't have a sense of urgency in the corner, and he didn't let Joshua know that he was losing the fight, and he was basically leading Joshua to believe that what he was doing was working when it wasn't, and that's a problem. So after that 8th round, Usyk made that adjustment himself, and he started changing things up a little bit, and he started getting lower. He started throwing his jab towards the neck area and the chest area of Joshua, and he started stepping in and trying to get close to Joshua, and he started dropping that left hand to the body, right? And coming back with the right hook to the head. And after he threw that right hook to the head, he would either pivot out to his right or step off to the side and get out of center line. So he got closer to Joshua and smothered Joshua, not allowing him to get the full extension on the jab in the right hand. So Usyk had the ability to beat Joshua from the outside, from the mid-range in spots, and from the inside. Joshua primarily is most dangerous in the mid-range, right? When he's able to set his feet, crank up those 45s and those left hooks, and even the mid-range shorter right hand, right? But when you smother him, he doesn't like to fight on the inside. So what Usyk had to do, right, is make that adjustment, and he got up close to Joshua, and he took that space away from him, and Joshua didn't have the ability to get those shots off that he was getting off in rounds 5, 6, and 8. So people are going to say, well, he needs to be more aggressive. When he did try to be more aggressive, he was even less successful, because in rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12, I thought Usyk was even more dominant than he was in rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the last 4 rounds for Usyk were better, in my opinion, than the first 4 rounds after Joshua became more aggressive, right? So then you hear these things like smart aggression. What does that even mean, right? That's a very vague statement. I mean, what do you mean smart aggression? What does that even mean, right? It's almost like a dichotomy, right? Well, you got to be more measured. You can't be reckless. I understand all that. But once again, when you're in there with the guy who's technically better than you, right? Who's a better thinker than you, who's a more instinctive thinker than you, how are you going to outsmart him? And then, this whole thing like Joshua's got to get physical. Joshua is not a physical guy. He's not a Derek Chisora or Dillian White style of fighter where he likes to get in and muck up the fight on the inside. He's never been that guy. So I think the problem here is, I'm going to use a statement that my partner, Eric Lauder, likes to say all the time. I'm going to give him a shout out for this. When you look at this fight, Usyk's got many more ways to win, right? Many more ways to win, and Joshua only has one way to win. Let's take a look at the odds. I'm gonna look at the prop bets right here, right? Because Joshua, I think he's like a plus 170 right now, and Usyk is a minus 190. But let's look at some of these prop bets, because these prop bets are very telling, right? So Usyk to win by KO is a plus 165. But Usyk to win by decision, he's a plus 200. So the odds makers are telling you that there's a more likelihood that Usyk can win this fight by knockout as opposed to decision. Now, it's close, right? It's close, right? But the likelihood and the probability, right, is that Usyk has a better chance to win by knockout. But let's look at Joshua here, right? So Joshua is a plus 275 to win by knockout. Now, this is the bigger puncher, and they're giving him less of a chance to win this fight by knockout than they are Oleksandr Usyk. So that's very telling, right? But Joshua to win by decision is a plus 650, right? So it's going to be damn near hard for Joshua to win this fight by decision, but Usyk can win this fight by decision. He can win this fight by knockout. He can outbox Joshua, and he even outfought him in the first fight because at no point in time, now Usyk was buzzed a few times. Don't get me wrong. We're going to keep it 100. We're going to keep it a buck. We're not going to sit there and lie and try to minimize what Joshua did. He had some good moments in the first fight. I gave him 3 rounds. I gave him rounds 5, 6, and 8. Could you give him the 4th? Not impossible. It was closer, right? It's not impossible. So at best, in my opinion, this was an 8-4 fight for Usyk. I scored it 9-3. I thought it was a very one-sided fight, right? But Usyk not only buzzed Joshua in that first fight, he rocked him, had him staggering, and had him buckled, and actually knocked him back. Knocked the bigger, stronger man back. Why did that happen? Is Usyk a harder puncher than Joshua? No. But he's a much more accurate puncher. I think he's quicker. I think he knows how to camouflage his shots and give that surprise element to the shots. So Joshua really couldn't gauge the shots, couldn't time the shots, and couldn't prepare and brace himself for the shots, and actually walked into some of the shots too. So that added to the danger and the force of the punches, in my opinion. So Usyk proved there were points in that fight, round 7 and round 12, where it looked like Joshua was going to go. He was going to get knocked out, right? But I think Usyk was a little cautious in that fight. He knew he was ahead, right? So he decided, you know what? Let me just win this fight by decision. I think he did try to knock him out in the 12th round. You can argue, some people argue that they clicked the bell rang like 10 seconds early. It was suspect, but it is what it is. We're not going to play the conspiracy theories here. It looked like Joshua was going to go in that last round. He was very, very close to being stopped, right? So let's take a look at this rematch. A lot of people were saying that Usyk was going to come in heavier, and the pictures that we saw, Usyk did look like he was bigger, but again, sometimes when you're more cut, more defined, and you're more muscular, you have that appearance that you're bigger. Usyk is a guy who I think has great stamina. I mean, when you look at a fighter's build, you look at a guy that has those long type muscles as opposed to those bubbly, round, short muscles. Those guys who have those bubbly, round, short muscles like Joshua, David Haye, Andre Berto, Jean Pascal, these types of fighters, like they are, or what I like to call the sprinters, and the guys who have the longer, slow twitch fibers are the marathon runners. So Usyk has that build where he's got those long muscle bellies, and he's got a good amount of those slow twitch muscle fibers, right? Joshua, regardless of what he weighs, genetically he is who he is. And again, he tends to fight a lot of times off emotion, does have a hard time controlling his adrenaline. So that only compounds to his issues with stamina and fatigue. And coupled with the fact that genetically he's a predisposed fast twitch muscle fiber guy. Just look at his build. He's got those short muscle, round, short, bubbly muscle bellies. That's his type of physique. Same as David Haye. And David Haye used to get tired. Jean Pascal, Andre Berto, all these guys showed fatigue later in fights, and all these guys were those explosive guys when they punched, right? So regardless of how much Joshua weighs, I don't think he's ever going to have great stamina. He can always improve on it. Let's be honest. He can improve on it, but he's never going to ever be that marathon runner, right? So, even if Usyk decides to, grows bigger in this division, becomes heavier, As long as he does it the right way, as long as it's a functional weight, right? As long as he doesn't go to the buffet like Andy Ruiz and just put on an exorbitant amount of weight just for the sake of putting on weight, you know, because of his genetic makeup, he's always going to have some pretty decent stamina. And because he's so good and so aware in there, having that adaptive, reactive ability to see what's coming at him and react to it quickly, it's going to be hard to catch him off guard with a shot. It's going to be hard to get him to walk into something. It's going to be hard for him not to catch a shot, maybe roll it, maybe partially block it. I'm obviously he is going to get it clean, but he has a way of mitigating damage because of his awareness in the ring. Joshua doesn't have that ability, right? And it seems like I'm being hard on Joshua right now, but I'm just being realistic. Joshua is a elite physical specimen, right? He's an elite physical specimen, right? Obviously, he has his strengths and weaknesses. So, he became heavyweight champion twice for a reason. He became Olympic champion for a reason. But we have to compare him now to the guys in this division, the elite. We're not comparing him to an average fighter now. Now, the stakes are higher, the standards are higher, the bar is much higher. So we're going to have to talk and compare him to the Deontay Wilders, the Oleksandr Usyks, the Joe Joyces, the Tyson Furies. So this is the reality of the situation. So because Usyk has the ability to make more adjustments, because he has the ability to be more skilled, right? Because he's much more versatile than Anthony Joshua. Even though these odds are pretty tight, let's look at the overall odds for the fight. Let me see if they moved a little bit here. See what they are currently. So currently, Anthony Joshua is a plus 175. So the odds are actually going up a little bit. At one point, he was a 160, then he was a 170. He's a plus 175 right now. And Usyk is a minus 210, coming even up from a minus 190. So the odds are kind of getting greater here in Usyk's favor, right? The over-under is 10.5 rounds. The under is a minus 105. It was a plus 110, 125. A lot of people now do not believe this fight is gonna go the distance. A lot of people believe this fight will go under 10.5 rounds. According to how this line is moving, the over is a minus 115. Right. So the perception from the bets that are coming in now, these late bets, the perception is that this fight is not going to go the distance, and it's not impossible for Joshua to win this fight by knockout. But judging by the betting public out there and the perception out there, the general consensus out there is telling you that the only way Joshua can win this fight is win by knockout, right? And like I said, Oleksandr Usyk took those shots in the first fight, right? And Joshua was the one who looked the worse for wear when Usyk landed those shots. He was the one that looked like he was almost going to go and get knocked out in that fight, not Oleksandr Usyk. So Anthony Joshua got a little bigger, right? So again, we already saw that when Joshua did become more aggressive and Usyk made the adjustment, he was even more successful with the aggressive tactics of Joshua as opposed to the more passive tactics, right? So by being more aggressive, right, I don't think it's going to be to Joshua's benefit. I think it's going to be to his detriment, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Joshua is going to be that much different than the first fight. They can say a lot of things, but at this point in time, with Anthony Joshua, you are who you are, right? He's been boxing for a long time. I think his instincts are going to take over. He's giving off the impression by the way he talks, the things he says, the way he carries himself, and even by the way he fights, that he is showing indecisiveness. He's still at this point in time trying to find out who he is as a fighter, right? It's one thing to be, you hear the term a thinking fighter, right? But when you're overly concentrating in there, right? We hear the term thinking too much, right? Putting too much thought into what you're doing and not having it be instinctive, right? When you're trying to collect the data, but you're not processing that data as fast as you need to process it, there's going to be a lag in what you do. There is going to be a point where you're just going to be thinking too much and you're not going to react quickly enough in there. So when you're at this level, right, where this is a game of inches, one guy is just more fluid than you, more instinctive than you, more adaptive, reactive than you, right? May not be as big as you, may not be as strong as you, right? But he's one step ahead of you at all times because of this. And let's make no mistake about it. Usyk is a very athletic guy himself. Usyk is not a soft puncher at all, right? So Usyk is strong enough, right? And I think he's a faster guy than Joshua as well. But when you have a guy who is probably more athletic than you, and on top of that, he's got a better boxing brain than you. He's got more versatility than you. I'm gonna make a statement right now that's gonna sound very controversial and maybe offend some Joshua fans. But in my opinion, contrary to what the odds say here, because it's 210 minus 175. I mean, it's Usyk's like a 2-1 favorite, right? So that means Joshua has a 50%, almost a 50% chance to win this fight. But in my opinion, the only way Joshua can win this fight, he's got a puncher's chance, and that's all. Right? You got to bet on the lottery here, right? And in your regular life, when you're making decisions, financial decisions, none of us like to make these types of lottery decisions, right? We like to give ourselves the best chance to win. So in my opinion, I think Usyk stops Anthony Joshua in the 10th round here. And if I'm going to recommend a bet for this fight, right, I would bet Usyk to win by stoppage, right? Let's take a look at one more time. He's a minus 165 by stoppage. Now, if you want to hedge that with Usyk by decision, right, that's a plus 200. So you can do that. I'm not even again. I mean, the over under, that's fine. I do think it's going to go under, but you're not getting great odds for that, right? You're not getting great odds for that. But like I said, if you want to be aggressive, or not, I don't even think it's extremely aggressive. But if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can just bet Usyk, right, to win by knockout, right, at plus 165. I don't think that's a bad bet. But if you're a little iffy on it, hedge him to win by decision. I have a hard time seeing. I'm trying to play. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the most crazy thing you're going to hear. I had a dream this morning when I was sleeping. I had a dream this morning, and I had a dream that Usyk knocked out Joshua in the first round, and he knocked him out of the ring. As crazy as that I had this dream. I just had this fucking dream. So if something like this fucking happens this afternoon when we're watching this fight, then Beeb will be a prophet. But it's amazing. It's a crazy ass dream. I had that dream that he knocked him out in the first round and he put him through the ropes. That's crazy. But yeah, I like the bet I'm recommending is Usyk by KO here at a plus 165. And if you want to be a little conservative, you're a little iffy on that. I'm not against hedging it with the plus 200. Keep in mind you're going to minimize your earnings, but you're got a little insurance, right? So you'll minimize your earnings. Another bet if you want to get crazy aggressive, right? Another bet I like is if you want to you could throw a tiny little, you could do a little sprinkle, a little dabble on this bet, right? Usyk to win by KO in between rounds 10 through 12. That's a plus 525. But if you were to just say I want to make one bet, Beeb, what's the bet you recommend? Going to say Usyk by KO at a plus 165, right? And then the other bet I wouldn't be against is if you hedge it by decision, right? And you can even throw that Usyk by knockout at a plus 525. You don't even have to throw a ton on that, right? You can throw a little sprinkle on that because you're getting a plus 525, right? Once again, you could minimize your winnings, but it's worth a shot because I think that's that's the more likelihood that's a very realistic outcome because I'm picking him to win by 10th round. So if he does knock him out in the 10th round, then I bet that's a plus 525. So I'm not against that. Gianna Cali, I don't know who that is, to be perfectly honest with you. Don't know who that is. So if that guy invented the word sprinkle, then I'm not aware of that, so I don't know who that is. It says sprinkle. You must be watching Gianna Callis, aka Greek Gambler, aka I have no idea who the fuck that is. Zero. No, zero. So does anyone know who that is, guys? Yeah, I don't know who that is either. Yeah, but never heard. I mean, you guys, if you've been watching me long enough, he coined the YouTube. I don't think anyone can really coin the. I've heard several people say the word sprinkle. Several people heard the word sprinkle, not in terms of gambling, but in terms of other like investing. Anything regarding money. I've heard people use the word sprinkle. So again, I mean, it is what it is. So I don't think anyone has a copyright on the word sprinkle, I guess is my point. But I digress. So, I have a hard time seeing Joshua winning this fight. And, I don't know. I just see it. I just don't see this fight close. And a lot of people talking about the Ukraine thing and how that could be a problem. I think that's going to invigorate. It's going to ignite. It's going to motivate Usyk even more because now he's fighting for more than just the titles. He's fighting for his country. And yeah, I just want to touch that other point about the whole sprinkle thing, and then we'll end it here. You guys know, if you follow me, usually when I do use someone else's words, I'm always crediting them or quoting them or saying such and such said this and I agree, or like so and so said. So I'm not going to say something that's not mine without crediting. I mean, you just, if you follow me long enough, do I even in this video I credited Eric Lorda for something he said. I credit D Style for things he said. So it is what it is. But yeah, I do think the Ukraine thing is not going to be a deterrent. It's not going to be a negative. I think it's going to. I don't want to say it. This doesn't sound right, but it's actually going to be a positive for. It's going to be a positive for him. Can you elaborate what this means? Can we all agree Usyk and Joshua are lower tier? What do you when you say lower tier? What does that mean? I'm a little confused about that. What does that mean? That they're lower tier? I don't understand that. Joe, there's another great question here. Joe, what do you think of TV viewership numbers will be? Uh, in the UK, I wouldn't be surprised if it did a million pay-per-view buys, but once again, I do think there's going to be a backlash, right? I think there's going to be a backlash because um, the UK fans are being asked to pay for a lot of pay-per-views now. The fact that they have to pay for Canelo Golovkin 3, right? They have to pay for Canelo Golovkin 3 while we're getting it free. We're actually getting, like, everyone else is getting this fight free except for them. So I don't know. They could be UK fans. I've always said are the best boxing fans in the world, and I've always respected and given them a lot of props for their dedication to the sport because I'm very similar to them. I never stream fights. I buy every pay per view just about. There's not a pay per view that I don't think I spend $1,000 a year sometimes on boxing. So I totally respect the UK fans, but this may be one occasion where they may say, "Hey, you know what? Fuck Eddie Hearn, fuck this guy, you know, fuck this whole pay per view bullshit," and they may just say, "You know what? I'm going to stream it this time." I hate streams. I just can't stand the quality of them. You know, it's just crazy. Thank you so much, Sly Tendencies. He says, I got Usyk. AJ looked better, but not enough time. Yeah, that's another big thing, too. You know, when you have a new trainer, and Ronnie Shields had said this himself, and I'm going to repeat this. This is something I talked about. Um, and shout out to the Boxing Voice because when they had Ronnie Shields in the studio, they were interviewing him. So shout out to Nestor Gibbs. So, like I said, I always give credit when I hear something from someone else. Case in point, just now. So shout out to Nestor Gibbs and Danny over at the Boxing Voice. They interviewed Ronnie Shields a couple weeks ago, almost I want to say close to a month ago. And Ronnie Shields said the reason why he didn't take the assignment was because he didn't want to go over to the UK, right? And he didn't want to leave his fighters who also had some big fights. And another thing he said was, I wanted more time to prepare him. I didn't think it was the best thing to do to go right into the rematch without him getting acclimated to me as a trainer. So that was one thing Ronnie Shields did say. And Ronnie Shields also said that he did recommend Robert Garcia get the assignment. So a lot of people thought that Anthony Joshua just chose Robert Garcia, which he did ultimately choose him. But Robert Garcia, according to Ronnie Shields, was not the first choice. And part of the reason why, as I said, Ronnie Shields decided that he couldn't take on the assignment was because he felt as though he needed more. And he also said it too, you know, in other interviews. I think Lady Chan has interviewed Ronnie Shields. Shout out to Lady Chan. I think she said he said it on one of her interviews. So shout out to Lady Chan. We always give credit here. So I mean, I don't want to keep going back to that statement, but I'll be honest, it kind of did disturb me a little bit. But you know, I'll get over it. But yeah, I mean, that was something he said all along that he you know, ideally he wanted more time with Anthony Joshua. So I've never been a big believer in this getting a new trainer and having this guy change you in one training camp. I think it's actually worse for a fighter who's been under one system for a long period of time, right? And he's taking on a new system, right? New philosophy, new principles, new trainer, whatever the case may be, right? And he's being forced to learn everything in such a short period of time and not only test it out, because you're not going to have the ability to really test it out, right? You're being thrown to the wolves right now. So it takes time. Like, people like to talk about other situations where Robert Garcia took on other fighters and he did well. And once again, they had fights before they had the bigger fights, the title fights with Robert Garcia. So, you know, I do think that ultimately, ideally, it would have been better to have some more time at with Robert Garcia. I was about to say Ryan Garcia. Should Joshua retire? Sin City says if he loses Joe. Uh, I'm gonna say no. I don't believe he should retire if he loses. Because once again, you guys are the most loyal fans in the world over in the UK. I even though sometimes I criticize you, I have the utmost. I will always give you the recognition, and I will always acknowledge that you are the best boxing fans in the world, in my opinion. Right? And you guys have always been the best to me. You've shown me a lot of love over the years. You guys have been probably the most loyal listeners to me over the years as well. Guys gave me the title of UK's adopted son. You've always shouted me out. You've always treated me with respect for the most part, more so than even the American fans do. So I have a deep admiration for you guys as boxing fans. I do think you're sometimes you ride with the guys you like a little too much, but again, that's your prerogative to do so. Let me be clear. Joshua is a very likable guy, right? He's a very likable guy. I like the guy. I think he's cool as shit, right? I don't know him personally, but he gives off a lot of positive vibes, regardless of what I think about him as a fighter, regardless of what I think about him, uh, you know, his mentality, whatever. He comes off to me as a very nice guy, likable guy. And if you ask me, like, B, who would you rather hang out with? Floyd Mayweather or Anthony Joshua? I would take Anthony Joshua 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, man. I think he's a cool guy. I think I could hang out with him and have fun with him, and we be a good experience. Floyd Mayweather, I don't think I could spend 5 minutes with the dude. He would just make me fucking aggravated and irritated and sick. I just couldn't deal with him. You know what I'm saying? Got to respect Joshua for he comes off as being an honest guy. He tells you what's on his mind. He's not evasive about anything. He tells you the truth, right? So I like Anthony Joshua. Same thing with Canelo Alvarez. If you asked me, who would you rather hang around with, Pete? Canelo Alvarez or Floyd Mayweather? Same thing. Canelo Alvarez seems like a cool guy, very likable person. Personally, I think these guys are great people. I don't know them personally, but what they portray and how they carry themselves and just the perception from what I've seen of them that I have, I believe they come off as being really good people. But if you ask me to compare them to Floyd Mayweather, I think in terms of boxing, fighting, I'm not very critical of Floyd Mayweather as the fighter. A lot of people criticize how he moved in his career, and I'll be honest, and I'll tell you the one guy that he didn't fight that I really wanted him to fight was Kostya Tszyu. Am I upset that he didn't fight Antonio Margarito? No, because he beat Shane Mosley after Shane Mosley destroyed Antonio Margarito, and he beat him in a very one-sided fight. Am I pissed off that he didn't fight Paul Williams? No, because Paul Williams, he lost to freaking Carlos Quintana. Again, I like no disrespect. I'm just saying, I just don't think those are fights that would have, that Floyd Mayweather would have lost. That those weren't must-see fights or must-happen fights for me. Was I disappointed he walked away in 2007 after beating De La Hoya instead of fighting Cotto, Shane Mosley, and all that? Yeah, of course I was. But when I still think Mayweather has a very, very solid resume. And everyone says, oh, well, he fought this guy too late, that guy too late. But the ironic thing about it is he was always he was older than the majority of the people he fought. So he was older than Cotto. Oh, well, Cotto was damaged goods. Well, Floyd was had wear and tear on him too. He hurt his shoulder, had bad hands. I mean, again, we can't have double standards with these fighters. Oh, Canelo was green. Yeah, but Floyd was almost 37 years old. He was way out of his. That wasn't the best version of Floyd either. And Canelo Alvarez had 40 something fights. He was a unified champion at a junior middleweight. Had some good victories under his belt. So I mean, it is what it is. But as a person, I don't like Floyd Mayweather. He just comes off as really shallow and irritating. Very disingenuous. I don't like him. So when you guys use the word hater, I don't think you understand what the word hater really means, right? Basically, what you're saying is you don't like what I'm saying, right? It bothers you, doesn't make you feel good, right? So, Beeb, you're a hater. So instead of saying, Beeb, I just hate what you're saying, you're telling me I hate the person. I honestly don't hate anybody, bro. I don't. So I think the word hater has been misused in society today. It's a cop out, right? It's a default debating tactic that people use when they don't have the intellect. They're not able to have a rational discussion with you, and they can't make good relevant points. So they default to the cop out, take the easy way out, and just say, "Oh, you're a hater." Right? Instead of just saying, "Well, what you're saying may be true, but I don't like hearing it." A lot of things I don't like hearing. A lot of things I don't like hearing, but I have to deal with the harsh reality. And guys, I always tell you guys, do you want the pretty lie or do you want the ugly truth? And sometimes you may want the pretty lie. Like I said, sometimes the pretty lie is applicable. Like, you're having sex with a girl, man, and you had a great time and it was the best sex you ever had, and then you may ask her, hey, how was it for you? Because you felt so good. Maybe you don't need to know that it wasn't as good for her. She can lie to you. Why not? Sometimes the pretty lie is applicable. But when it comes to performance in life, right? When you're working or you're doing something that contributes to your improvement as a man, mentally, physically, and economically, in those situations, I think you would want the truth. Another time where I wanted the pretty lie is when I used to be a manager. Someone called in sick. They told me, "Hey, you know what? I was out drinking last night. I got hungover. I can't come in this morning." You know what I told them? Next time, don't tell me that. Just tell me you're sick, right? Lie to me. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I do want to be lied to. It's fine. It's fine. Sometimes I do want to be lied to, but when it comes to anything with career, finance, self-improvement, those types of things, you got to be honest with yourself, because if you're not, you're never going to get better, right? Sometimes it's good to have fantasies, right? Have moments, right? Where sometimes you want a fairy tale type situation around you, right? We all love to escape sometimes, right? But just remember, we have to always come back into reality, right? So as long as you're able to come back into reality and deal with the real things, when you have to deal with real things, then that's fine. So you have to be able to distinguish what's real and what's not, right? that's what I tell girls that all the time. If ever a girl criticizes, like, it doesn't happen very often because the Bee has a very good record with the honey dips. But if a girl ever said like, because that's another thing these girls love to do nowadays. Like they like to when they're mad at you, like a girl will be dating you for like a year, and then all of a sudden your dick is too small, or you can't fuck right? But you never complain for that year, whatever. So I always tell them is, hey, at least I got what I wanted. At least I fucking busted. You know, I don't give a fuck if you had yours. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, man. But it is what it is. I know we're going down a rabbit hole here and we're fucking going off topic, but it is what it is. He said, since he's like, my ex told me last weekend, told me that I was selfish. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I am selfish when it comes to relationships. When it comes to friendships, it comes to business. Um, when it comes to other things, I'm really good at compromising, but I'm not good at relationships because I'm not good at compromising. I don't like to have to do. I don't like it when a woman says, "Well, if you loved me, you would do this for me." My response to that woman would be, "Well, if you loved me, you wouldn't ask me to do something I don't like. You would want me to be happy." So my thing is find things that we both like to do. Why do you have to do things that she likes to do that you don't like to do just to make her happy? Right? Why can't you find a common ground and do things you both like to do? Right? So that's why I'm bad at compromising. That's why I'm bad at compromising. What's up, Cholo? How you doing, brother? Nice to see you, brother. Always a pleasure. Um, Beeb, your opinion on the Charlo situation. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, there's a lot of shit going on with Charlo. What do you mean? Can you tell me what it is? I'd love to. I just want to know. I don't know what the Charlo situation is. Sorry, but yeah, it's funny. Oh, Sin City Cynic said I flipped a coin and it landed on Usyk. See, Usyk's he's not a plus 220 on my site. Let me see what he is on my site again. I think he's he's only a plus 200. Excuse me. He's only a minus I'm sorry, he's a minus 210 on my site. So it's close. Yeah, he's a minus 210 on my site. He's not a minus 220. Joshua's a plus 175. Hey, if you like Eric Lauder, my partner, he's picking Joshua. He likes Joshua in this fight. Lipinets, I think, is going to destroy Brandon Figueroa. That's going to be a very, very one-sided fight, in my opinion. Navarrete fight should be another walkover, in my opinion. I don't foresee that fight being overly competitive. One thing I wanted to ask you guys is I don't do these as often as I used to. Would you like me to do? Did I say Brandon? Yeah, I'm sorry, Maestro. I think a couple people did that on the show on Thursday. I have a because when you think of Figueroa, you think of Brandon because he's the guy who's always fighting, and Omar is not. So yeah, I apologize for that. Yeah, someone else did that on the roundtable this Thursday. They said Brandon instead of Omar. Yeah, my bad. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah. But yeah, I was going to ask you guys. You think I should do a live cast today for the Joshua Usyk fight? I kind of like doing those, and I like scoring a fight, and I like doing that. I like doing that, and then we can kind of like compare our rounds and kind of talk about what we're seeing. So it's almost like we're like at a bar together. So I think I'm going to do it, guys. I think I'm going to do a live cast today. I think I'm going to do a live cast today for this fight. This fight probably could be coming off. That's another cool thing too. Like I love these UK and these Saudi cards because a lot of times we get like we be able to like. I hate watching these fights at 10 o'clock, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I was picking Figueroa over Broner too, man. I had a very controversial take. I had a very controversial take on that whole thing with the mental health thing. So yeah, I think that Broner was saying some very, very controversial things. He was telling on himself a little bit. He was like, "Oh, why can't Floyd Mayweather fight me in an exhibition? We can both make 8 figures and stuff." I don't think that Broner was ever particularly overexcited about this fight with Figueroa. I don't think he was confident there was rumors that he was having issues with weight. So, I question the whole mental health thing. It's seems like a lot of people are going to start using that excuse now whenever they don't want to, whenever something's wrong or whatever. I question it. I really do, if I'm being honest. But you know, I don't really watch those exhibitions. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I paid for Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. I'm not gonna lie. Watch that one. I paid for Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. I didn't pay for Floyd's other exhibition against that Don House guy. So it is what it is. But I think Omar Figueroa is going to get destroyed tonight. I'm sorry to say. I don't want to be so blunt with it. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful. I think he's going to have a hard time with Lipinets tonight. And I think Navarrete should win pretty easy. And like I said, I think Usyk is going to have a pretty easy time as well, if I'm being honest. Oh, Jamal had his wife. Wow, what the fuck happened here? Jamal had his wife arrested. Then she posted a video saying he can't afford his house and that she's going to expose him and that he never fighting again. Big drama show. Very interesting. See how women are, though? Like, people don't like when we say this. I don't know the whole story, right? But women place a high value on a man based on how much money he makes and his status, right? All men care about is all you got to do is be submissive, give us good sex and take care of yourself. Be pretty, right? And sometimes a woman, she'll get in a relationship with you. She'll be disagreeable. She'll want to argue with you all the time. She gets too comfortable. She gets fat. And then when you go out and fuck other girls because you're saying to yourself, I'm not attracted to this girl anymore. So, so everything is on the guy. So because she had a problem with him, now she's got to try to devalue him as a person. She's got to put his business out there. Like, oh, he's broke. He can't afford the house, blah, 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 blah. It's like, what the fuck do you get out of that? Are you trying to subtract from others to add to yourself, man? What did she get arrested for? What did she do? What did she steal from him? What did she do? Did she hit him? Let me Google this fucking shit. This is out of control. I did not know this. See if I can find some information on this. Yeah, it's not out there, man. Jamal Charlo wife. Let me see. I'm not seeing it, bro. Oh, unfortunate news. Jamal Charlo wife. It's a Blue Blood Sport video, but what the fuck happened? Let me take a look at this, man. Let me see this mugshot of her. She's kind of pretty, man. Oh shit. Oh shit. So she hit him and he had her arrested because she hit him. Good for fucking him, man. They love to hit us because they know we can't hit them back. They take advantage of us. Good for him, man. Good for him, man. Fucking Amber Heard. See, this Amber Heard thing it's fucking destroyed it for them. Right? We're starting to get our power back, man. We're starting to fucking they've been trying to emasculate us for the last fucking 20 years. We're starting to get it back, baby. Good for him. Good for him. Let me see. Jamal Charlo wife. Jamal Charlo wife, excuse me. She's actually a very pretty girl too, man. She's very pretty. Very attractive woman. Wow, she's a very attractive woman. She's cute. She kind of looks like she's like, I don't know, she's got like a mix of Hispanic in her or Asian. She looks very pretty though. Very pretty girl. Very. I think he's got what's he got, a daughter too? God damn, bro. Let me see. See if she got an Instagram. That's fucked up though. That is kind of fucked up. They put a mugshot out there though, man. That's kind of fucked up when they do that. They try to embarrass people when bad shit happens to them. Not a big fan of that. Jamel Charlo wife arrested. Let me see if I can get a story on that. Yep. Let me see if I can get a story on that. Chantel Charlo is her name. Chantel Charlo. Jamal Charlo is broke. Yeah, I can't. I'm not able to get a story on that. Let me see if I can go on my app. See if they got a story on that in my app. Yeah, it's not. It hasn't been put out there yet, man. Maybe they'll put it out. Maybe they'll put it out later. It's not out there now. Very interesting. I did not know that. Shit. Hopefully, we'll get some more information. More people will start reporting on it. But she's a very pretty woman. I have to give her that. Looks like she takes care of herself. Let me see. Take a look at her Instagram. Yeah, she's cute. Got a nice little body too. God damn, she got a nice body. Oof. She's really cute, man. Ugh. But see, this is another thing I don't like, man. She's married, right? She's a married woman, and she's out there fucking showing off her fucking ass and tits on Instagram, dude. Very disrespectful to your man by showing this shit, like by showing off your fucking ass. They got a beautiful little girl too. Damn, the girl's very pretty, very pretty little girl. Yeah, she's very attractive, man. Got to give her that. Shout out to her for being cute. I don't know how. Don't know. I don't know her personally, but if she wants to fucking start hitting on her, she wants to start hitting her man. I'm not about that, bro. Not a big fan of that. Want me to drop her Instagram? Okay, I'll drop her Instagram. That's public. That's public shit. I'll drop her Instagram. See you guys take a look at it. I don't have a problem doing that. Hey, what's up, Marty? How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you, brother. You got another channel? Utter free, yeah. Thank you, brother, for all those videos you did for me in the past. Made those edit videos that you did for me in the past. I appreciate that, brother. Excellent video editor. If you don't know Marty, let me see if I put him up there. Yeah, if y'all guys want to subscribe to Marty and hit him up, does great video editing, man. Appreciate that work he's done for me in the past. Yeah, this is her Instagram. She's kind of cute, man. She's got a nice little body, bro. But again, I don't like look at this, like the showing off your like these. Oh, she got a video and shit. Understand how Ray? Yeah, she got a nice body, bro. I don't like this whole bikini shit. You know, you're a fucking married woman. Stop trying to fucking, sell other dudes your sexuality, bro. We don't need to see that if you're married. You know, I mean, I'll look at it. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm Jamal Charlo, I'm not happy about the fact that you're trying to sexualize yourself on Instagram, especially if you're a married woman with a child. This girl probably doesn't have to work either, man. She's like Jamal's taking care of her and all this shit, and then she's gonna come out and try to talk shit about him. So, and the sad part about it is this is the fucked up part about it. And again, I don't want to be overly assuming and just suspect things, but chances are they probably don't have a prenup. So he divorces her. He may not even divorce her, because if he divorces her, guess what happens? She's gonna fucking take everything, bro. She's gonna take everything, bro, if they get divorced. Is this gonna be a one-off for Robert Garcia? Depends on if Anthony Joshua gets destroyed in this fight and loses badly. I think he's gonna lose badly in this fight, in my opinion. Then I would not be surprised if Robert McCracken gets brought back into the camp. So it's a good question. Is this a one-off? Could possibly, if he doesn't look good. It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility that yeah, if he doesn't do well, it could be very well be a one-off. Would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. Damn, just restarted the zone, and they're sneaky as hell. Had the KSI pay-per-view automatically checked off, and I almost, oh shit, yeah. Oh, speaking of the zone, man, I'm paying $19.99 a year, and I looked on my membership. It's on auto renew, and it says the price increase is like it went up to $149, bro. It went up $50, and it's gonna go up. Like it's gonna go up $50 starting March. I think March 31st or some shit of 2023. So next year, in September, October, November, December, January, February, March, in 7 months, my membership's gonna go up $50. So these dudes are fucking crazy, bro. They're fucking crazy. Fucking crazy, these dudes. All right, everybody, I'm gonna bounce. I'll probably go live, man. I think I'm gonna go live on the fight. It depends. It depends. A lot of people. I'm gonna answer this question, Joe. Wouldn't it be better to buy the fight on DAZN rather than subscribe? A lot of people are doing that. A lot of people I know canceled their DAZN membership and are just buying pay-per-views. But the problem is, if you have a subscription, your pay-per-view cost is lower. But again, if you're just going to buy pay-per-views from them, then you're saving the $150 a year or the $20 a month. So if you're not a big fan of all the fights that they broadcast, and you only like the Joshua and Canelo fights, then yeah, just buy the pay-per-views. Fuck them. Fuck them. But that's probably why they had to go to pay-per-view, because people were dipping in and out, right? And they were basically watching these fights, for these supposedly pay-per-view quality fights, for short money, and they were losing money. But we'll see what happens, guys. I mean, I still question if the zone's going to be around in 5 years, but we'll see. All right, guys, peace out. Have a great day. Talk to y'all soon. Beavis out. Stay safe as always, and make sure you check out the Ringside Reporter podcast every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you check out the Roundtable this Thursday. The Roundtable, 8 p.m. Eastern time, will be on my channel, D-Style Boxing, and special guest host. So make sure you check that out. Until next time, see you guys later. Have a good one.